This president is one that I have focused on in ways that some people say, oh my God, she said the word impeachment. Oh my goodness, it's too soon to say that. They say that we can't focus on it because we have members who are in districts that he won, and they can't afford to talk about impeachment. They may be endangered in their elections, and it goes on and on and on. But there's no way we can move with an agenda to deal with the middle class constituency of this country and poor people and just the citizens of this country who deserve to have good public policy, with him at the helm. He does not believe in it. He's hired, that's a good way of saying it. He's appointed, he supported all of these appointees who are focused on his agenda. Just think about it, Mnuchin, he's your Treasury Secretary. He is known as the foreclosure king. He foreclosed on 36,000 homes in Southern California. So these billionaires, whether we're talking about Mnuchin, or don't get me started on Betsy DeVos, don't get me started on, Sessions. These billionaires who are now a part of his cabinet are opposed to everything that we stand for. And so we're not going to be able to move an agenda. There are some people who say, well, can't you try and work with him? No, we cannot. He's a liar. He cannot be trusted. He'll say one thing today and another thing tomorrow. How do you sit down with somebody who would mimic and mock a disabled journalist? How do you sit down with somebody who talk about grabbing women by their private parts? How do you sit down with someone who will fire anybody who gets in the way of an investigation that's leading to us understanding whether or not there was collusion between his campaign, his allies, and the Kremlin and Putin? Well, I decided a long time ago, when I looked at his allies and those people who are around him and their connections to the Kremlin and to the oligarchs of Russia and to oil and to wanting to lift the sanctions so that Putin can drill in the Arctic. When I looked at that, I knew right away that this was bad business and that these allies are all aligned, and they've been working on this for some time. I believe that not only was members of his campaign like Flynn and Carter Page and others who have relationships with the Kremlin and with Putin, etc. They didn't just start this. They've been working on this for some time, and even though I can't get into it into depth, it's all about, in the final analysis, lifting those sanctions. And that's why, you know, people don't ask, well, why did Putin? Why did he want to have Trump so badly? Why was he against Hillary? It's not about public policy. It's about oil. It's about drilling. It's about lifting those sanctions. And Tillerson is in on it also. Tillerson, the CEO, coming from Exxon, who lobbied for lifting the sanctions, who negotiated lifting those sanctions with Putin and negotiated the multi-billion-dollar deal for drilling in oil. It's all about the money, follow the oil. I'm convinced that if we had had the kind of investigations that we should have had by now, we would have connected those dots. We would know exactly what was done. I must tell you, even though we have those who say, well, we're finally moving, we're not moving. We're too slow. And I want you to know that our Intelligence Committee in the House, even though our Democrats are good and they want to do well, they don't have the cooperation of those Republicans in ways that will get a credible investigation done, in my opinion. And the same thing with the Senate. I had so much hope that the Senate would do better. I was depending on John McCain and Lindsey Graham to get him back for what he did to them when they were running, that they would step up to the plate. But now I'm a little bit disappointed. They don't have the personnel, etc. We've been calling for, and people have been asking for, an independent commission. We're talking about independent counsel. But I want you to know, if it was not for the media, we wouldn't be as far as we are now in understanding what has been going on. The Congress of the United States